Hello and welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John, where in each episode we'll stroll down the Macintosh memory lane. We'll discuss older Macintosh computers, collecting all things related to the Mac and Apple computer, and current topics from the perspective that only a couple of old Mac fans can provide.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone in the chat. Did I hear you say that Derek is
Derek.
in
Yeah.
Wow.
Good to see you, Derek. Eric, Dave, Trina, Steve. Wow, Jeremy. The gang's here. Awesome.
And you're here.
Nice. And I am here.
You've returned
right.
from
I have returned from my geeking.
Pensacon.
Yes. Pensacon. Pensacola's big sci-fi fantasy convention.
How would you compare size-wise Pensacon to, say, a Dragon Con?
Oh, goodness. That would be like comparing, gosh, how would it be? Like comparing, say, a Cooper Mini to a monster truck.
So the monster truck would just run over the Mini Cooper.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Now, that said, there were definitely some things were better at Pensacon, at a smaller convention. If you're trying to get autographs and everything, it's much easier to do that at Pensacon than at DragonCon. But if you're trying to see panels, DragonCon's definitely the place to go.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Right. And you've got I think you have a picture or two to share.
Yeah. Speaking of autographs, let's see if we can share this. So this is me with the me dressed as Dr. Forrester. April is in her Gizmonic Institute jumpsuit. And that is Jonah Ray, very, very nice guy. He's one of the newer hosts of Mystery Science Theater 3000. So we got that, and then we spent, our big thing is we spent way too much money on autographs. Because 5 of the doctors, Doctor Who doctors,
wow,
5 of them. And so this is our TARDIS in our living room.
Well, how many were there?
Oh, 15. I think we're up to 15. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
But and so yes, we have. We'll go in chronological order. We've got Peter Davidson, Colin Baker, Paul McGann. I'm sorry, I missed Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, and then Christopher Eccleston. So there you go.
And so when you go to these conventions, you just take this, remove this from.
I took I just took this. Oh, well, all 5 of those were there. Which
those
was
are all 5
amazing that
new.
all 5 were there. Correct. Yeah.
So is this a new idea because of the 5 of them being there?
It's something that it's going to be kind of sad. I had some of them before on something like this, and I didn't have it attached to the door at the time, and I ended up losing it. So I had to get it done again, which is not cheap because they do charge for autographs at these things. So yeah.
Derek is asking if you ever fit in a Mini Cooper, John. Did you read?
I used to have my main car was a Geo Metro, which I think a Mini Cooper has a lot more space compared to that. Maybe. And I've been in your Mini Cooper, so
yes, the answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's start the show for real. Enough of
this
side,
absolutely
non-Mac related stuff. Actually, let's see here. Let me get all my widgets up and ready to go. Here we go. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John. This is episode 644 for March 5th, 2023. Good morning, John.
Good morning, James.
And welcome back.
Thank you. And thanks to Steve and Ron for coming on the show last week. I listened to it this morning. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. This week, we're going to go time capsule back to Macworld magazine 30 years ago, March 1993, and see what was going on back then. But lots of news. Oh my gosh, some cool auctions. Yeah, and we've got a good group here in the YouTube audience. So if you haven't yet joined us, you should. 8 a.m. Central Sunday mornings. We're usually here. Well, why don't we get on with eBay finds?
Sounds good.
All right. We're going to get that up there. Boom. There we go. And let's go in 3, 2, 1. All right, eBay finds. Last week, there was the iMac Yum watch, they were calling it. It's the one of 500. So they claim. Actually, no, it was more than claim. They're etched on the back, 500, right? This was number 462. Commemorate the launch of the first iMac. And they wanted to buy it now for $449.99. It is still available for that price. There is no buy now or make an offer, I should say. Okay, and then the Lisa 1 offered up by MacFX. This one went after 27 bids for $9,000.
Ooh.
Let's hope that there's somebody real behind that bid and this goes through. So congrats for that.
I was amazed when Steve mentioned that front plate was made by MacFX.
Right.
I mean, holy cow! That guy does a good job on getting those things looking right.
Right. Okay, and the Macintosh XL screen kit for Apple Lisa boxed. This one went after just one bid, $200, which I think is
nice.
A pretty cool deal for such a unique little repair thing. Okay, we'll start off with this. This is the the title says Vintage Macintosh MacView Frame, 1988 for 512 or plus computer. Let's see. The description says, I do not know anything about this item or how to test it, but everything appears to be in good shape. There's a bit of color fare on one side of the glass, but it might be able to be cleaned up with alcohol wipes. Other than that, it's just kind of an as is, so untested, and the pictures here.
So what this is what this would have been is you would have hooked this up to your Mac and then put it onto a overhead projector. Right.
Yes.
This is one of those they had a ton of these at the school sales back when I started going to those, and I really wish I'd picked a couple of them up just for funsies. I don't know how this hooked up. Did this hook up through SCSI? Because we're talking, or a serial. Was it a serial thing? Since it hooked up to early 512 Mac Plus.
It says 512, so it couldn't have been.
Oh, 512, so it'd have to be a serial, right? Yeah. So I just love the fact that you would put this onto an overhead projector, and it must have been so cool at the time to be able to do that, to show real time what was on. Well, I suppose real time serial connection probably wasn't the fastest refresh thing, but still.
Well, still, cool. Think about that though. I mean, sending video out through the serial port.
Yeah.
Certainly, there were no monitors that did that. This was
right.
pretty close to a monitor function that was able to do that. Kind of surprised me. Yeah, you're right. It may be.
Well, so
Steve lag or
Steve mentions that there's a special board that goes between the board and the analog board. It passes through the CRT and splits it into the projector. Well, there you go.
Oh. So it's these little doodads right here.
See that next to the floppy? That's the adapter, is what he's saying. So there you go. Yeah. So there's this little board. Wow. So you'd actually have to. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So it would be pretty much real time then, I'm guessing. Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, and it comes this protective case with keys even. I wonder how much this thing going to cost new, but they want a buy it now of $284.96.
I think that's pretty reasonable considering this has the manuals. This has
software,
everything in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So the software says PS2 utility. I'm not sure. But yeah, you'd have to tear into your Mac to get this thing to work. I think this would be awesome to have. I don't know about $284. I think you got it for about half that. I think that'd be a fun little project to play with. This one ships from Phoenix, Arizona. And it's got, Oh, it
17
ends. So at
hours.
least, yeah, 17 hours. You have to act fast. But there, make an offer is there. That's an option.
There you are. All right.
Looks like brand new condition too. Okay, next.
All right, next up, and something in the magazine that we're going to go through prompted me to look on eBay for this. It is a vintage adjustable ergonomic keyboard with keypad and the 1992 installer. So I've got one of these. There is a Color Classic sitting behind me that has one of these keyboards on it. It was the one that kind of swiveled and split. It came with a separate numeric keypad with a bunch of function keys. So I'm guessing that is why there is specific software for this, because of all the extra function keys, which is not something that came on a lot of the keyboards yet from Apple. This one,
Yeah,
buy it
it
now.
even has standalone like volume keys in it.
Right, yeah.
What's the one on the lower right there?
So that's the numeric keypad. It was a separate thing.
No, I'm talking about this little. Oh, it's a
It's a little A to B
microphone.
cable.
No, I'm sorry.
Wait,
I don't know.
are we looking at different pictures? Sorry.
I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess so.
Yeah. Helps if I'm looking at what you're
All right,
looking
now you
at.
guess what I'm looking at again.
Okay.
No, that's
All right.
I'm just looking at the specialty buttons here. It's got a
Yeah, you're right. It
microphone,
looks like it's a
little button
microphone.
on it, and a mute, and a volume, and yeah, lots of cool things. Look, this could be cleaned up a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, and it also comes with this little kind of pigtail ADB cable for the numeric keypad, so you're not having to run another giant cable. This has got a buy it now of $135.96. I need to see if the software is over on Macintosh Garden, because I need to throw that onto my Color Classic and see how that works. So this says this says 5. This says 5 hours to go. So all right, guys in the chat, get on this. I don't need one. Somebody might.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's go to the last one. Oh, I meant to grab mine for illustration here, but this one is authentic Apple computer, 80s license plate with color Apple logo. And the description doesn't say much more than that, other than saying it's about 40 years old, and there's not many out there.
That is
with
of the more wonky Apple logos I've seen. Not only is it got the saggy butt, but also there's some weird stuff going on the top on that thing.
Yeah, so it's like a stamped license plate.
Yeah.
Right, so it's got relief. It's got the 6-color
Right.
Apple logo, and it is an older form of it with Apple in the Modern Tectura font. And this one's looks like it had a few miles put on it because it's a little dinged. I mean, not too bad. You know, it's shown some age on it, which I think for something this old, it really almost goes with it.
Adds
It
to
too
the
new.
right.
Yeah, but this looks authentic.
Absolutely.
With a little wear, but yeah, I think it's not too beat up. It's still display worthy. Maybe you could smooth out the dents a little bit, but yeah, when we were looking at those catalogs, we never did come across this particular item, so I'm still not clear how this was distributed, who received them, if it was ever sold or just a giveaway, or what the deal was, and the exact year. Although, stands to reason this is 70s, early 80s, right? Still
absolutely.
Maybe in the break I'll get mine out and see how it compares in condition here. But there were a handful of these license plates, and I keep meaning maybe to do an episode on them. I don't know. I'll just see how many I have and see if it's maybe worth. I think maybe if you combine the license plates with the license plate frames, were numerous.
There you go.
Back then I have some of those too. So, okay, well, what do they want? Whoa, $397.
The Google Home app.
Okay, $397 is the starting bid. There is no make an offer. It says 8 days to go, and it ships from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Okay. What are they saying in the comments?
I
You
just
put it
love
on your car and your license plate. No, so you would use this if you lived in a state that didn't require a front
A
license
front
plate.
plate, yeah, like
Like Florida.
I know Florida, yeah, there is no, sometimes you can't even find a place for a front plate on your car in Florida.
Yeah, or you have to when you buy a new car in Florida,
Right.
it's typically you have to specify, and they'll give you the hardware or the adapter or something to put a front plate on your
Add a,
car.
right, yeah.
The nice thing about these plates is they've been standardized since a long, long time. I mean, at least
Yeah.
40 years, but way beyond that, right? So yeah, even today, you could put that on your car. So, all right, we're moving on. Let's see. We're going to go to background.
Steve, you
Yeah.
you almost if that hadn't, I would have probably Steve just bought
What did he buy?
the viewport, our first auction.
Oh, he did.
Steve put in a $200 offer and it got accepted. That's funny.
We've got an update on that auction.
Poor Steve. He really needs to
I'm
stop watching this
refreshing
show.
The listing has ended.
Yes.
The listing has ended. Steve, are you sure you put a $200 offer, because it's saying that you bought it for $284.96. Oh, what?
160 plus $48.
Why does it still say
Oh, so he got it.
What are we?
Well,
are we
it may
talking about
not
the same
show
thing?
what the actual accepted price
It says
is.
sold for $284.96.
Well,
So I don't know what's going on there. Why wouldn't they say that sold for something else? Why would they say that
I
it
don't
sold
know.
for the list price? I don't know what's going on.
either way,
I don't know.
good on you. Good deal. Got it down to 160 plus the 40.
Yeah.
So it's
Can't wait to
that's
see
awesome, man.
see it work.
Yep.
And I bet, and I'm also interested in how the crispness of the display and how it handles motion, and if there's like smearing or whatever. It's like whatever that technology is, and yeah, hopefully.
Well, it's an LCD screen. It's just a transparent LCD.
Yeah, hopefully Steve has an
Overhead projector.
right? So he can try it out. Okay, let's go in 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going to go back 30 years to March 1993, Macworld magazine. Of course, you're able to download all these issues on archive.org. The headline is Special Multimedia Guide, and it's got a big picture of a CD-ROM I guess kind of sitting on a background there. CD-ROMs were peaking at this point. It was the way to get data around. I mean, we had the internet. It was kind of coming on the scene.
But it was still slow.
Still slow for people, because at home, most people just had slow modems, and not everything was out there, and you wouldn't even put stuff like out there because it'd be too slow to download or whatever. So, yeah, we mailed CD-ROMs to each other. That's what we did. So this is a multimedia guide, not only to the top 10 CD-ROMs, but how to create multimedia presentation, how to get sound into your Mac. And we combed through this issue and found a number of
A handful of things. Yeah.
interesting things. You wanted to go to page 9, so we'll go there first. There's an ad for an HP LaserJet. Looks like Mac users just got their very own HP LaserJet. Yes.
So yeah, this one definitely leapt out at me because I'm about to buy a new color laser printer to replace my old one. But this one will duplex, which is very nice. $500, which is a lot better than back then having to spend $2,999 on a LaserJet.
That's what this one went for?
Either. Yeah. Yeah,
and then double
right
that, and you get
thing.
your
exactly. You're with inflation. Mm-hmm. So yeah, a $6,000.
Where is the price?
It's right there at the very end.
The very end. I'm looking for the price. I didn't see it, but
I thought it was in there.
It's somewhere in there. Is that in there? Where did you see that? You must have looked it up.
No, right. They're surprisingly affordable.
Oh.
Perhaps the most remarkable attribute of the new
Oh.
LaserJet M4 4M printer is the price, $2,999.
Oh
A breakthrough in its own right.
So yeah,
So-
so double that at least. So you got about a $6,000 you're paying for your laser printer. And that wasn't
Yeah.
color. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go to page 12. Page 12. Oh. An ad by Scanco for the Mac table. As far as Apple's concerned, only one table can support the family.
Oh, yeah. I
Apple
love
calls it.
these tables. Man,
Yeah.
just so pretty.
Yeah,
Nice wood. You've got, kind of wood and beige. You've got a place for the desktop part of the computer underneath the main part of the table. You've got space over to the right for your printer. You've got a nice slanted area for your keyboard. Yeah, just really pretty.
And I
desks.
don't know if you remember that these were modular in that like those little front pieces there. See where the
Oh, yeah.
keyboard is on a little
Yeah,
slant
yeah,
tray, and those other little desks. You could move those around.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
whatever
Oh
you
yeah, I see. Oh right. Okay. And also the thing that that's underneath the desk I see are on wheels, so you could actually rearrange
those
how you have
around.
those as well.
Yeah, and I believe you could route
Really
cables
nice.
under those panels as well. So very cool. Very cool. I wish I had a Mac table. All right, let's go to the news page here on page 24. Mac
The
Bulletin.
Mac Bulletin. Which, all right, so first of all, I have to mention that Derek has just an amazing memory. When we mentioned what month that we were going to be going over, he recalled what the cover was, and he also recalled what is in this Mac Bulletin. So, pretty crazy. And what we're talking about is we got two things in this. We've got the fact that WordPerfect is acquired by BeagleWorks. And then what Derek remembered about outbound systems no longer basically in business. They cut a bunch of people.
Yeah, we were talking about Outbound last week because of the
Yeah.
SCSI display, and here they are going out of business essentially. But there's a third thing in here.
For their notebook. They're going to stop making their notebook system. So I was
Yeah.
curious to see whether they were still doing the monitor thing after this. But they had just stopped. This is when they stopped doing their portables.
Yeah,
Timeline
actually,
wise, I'd be curious.
there's a third thing in here. Apple, AOL agree at last. Apple and America Online have announced a strategic agreement that will give Apple access to America Online's technology for use in future versions of Apple's private email system, Apple Link. And this, I believe, is the first kind of hint that eWorld would show up probably a year later. As
Okay.
Apple did their skinned version of AOL and came out with eWorld. So, yeah, cool little stuff in that bulletin. Let's go on to page 53, where
Oh
You
yeah.
wanted to-
So one of the things that I always loved about this magazine is they would do basically one of the illustrations. They would break down exactly how the artist did some of the illustrations and go. And we're talking step by step what software they used, what hardware they used, step by step the process of creating the illustration. And I just always found that very interesting, and it's a great learning thing of how these professionals, their work process, their workflow on this. So there's a
Yeah.
great breakdown of the one of the illustrations in here, step by step, how they did it, and that's something I love.
yeah, I guess the hardware description: a 2CX with 8 megs of RAM and an 80 meg internal hard drive. Of course, these days you would find how to do this on YouTube, and they would you get full video of it step by step or whatever they were trying to
Yeah.
to demonstrate. Back then, no, you had to kind of read it and picture it as it was happening. But yeah, nice little breakdown there. Try to deconstruct these things and demystify them. Okay, let's go to. Well, we were talking about this earlier. And there it is. In the Macworld Straight News section, Apple redesigns input devices. Apple has introduced 2 new input devices designed for more comfortable interaction with the Mac. The Apple Adjustable Keyboard and the Apple Desktop Bus Mouse 2 are scheduled to ship at the end of January. $219 for that keyboard, which includes the numeric keypad. I didn't remember that was introduced at the same time as the ADB Mouse 2.
Nor I. Yeah.
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 Which, in fact, to be honest, I didn't even, that it was sold separately for $79. I don't have any vision of the retail packaging for the mouse. Have we seen? I guess I haven't. I'm not sure I've seen the retail packaging for the adjustable keyboard either. But I just think that the mouse, they changed the mouse at some point and it just became standard with new Macs. But it first came out as an accessory. So there's what the keyboard is. Looks like in the picture they're operating it with the rare wireless mode.
I have to say it is weird. It is weird using it when it's in split, where it's split open in the middle like that. It's just one of those you get so used to using a normal keyboard that when you go to the ergonomic, it's like I don't know. It's I suppose if you do a lot of typing, you would get used to it. But for just my day-to-day purposes, every time I have to use that keyboard and it is split, I usually just leave it together.
Yeah, I mean, we've already evolved as a species to use a regular keyboard. I mean, it's been
that's right. Yeah.
So our backs have contorted and
our wrists bend in unusual manners on normal now.
We walk around like this. I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah. So I guess for early man, maybe this would have been a good way to go. Okay. Let's. I guess we'll briefly look at the top issue or the top story here of this issue, which is the top 10 CD-ROMs. These exciting discs prove CD-ROM has come of age. See that? We're peaking right here with CD-ROMs. And now, when was the last time you used a CD-ROM? Back then, the big thing that was driving CD-ROMs was educational software. You had Rodney's Wonder Window and Word Tales. Some screenshots there. I guess now, what do? You just download these educational software for your kid's iPad, right?
Sure.
Pay $1 or $2 or whatever. They also had other things that, why would you, like the new Groyer Multimedia Encyclopedia. That was like a top CD-ROM.
Oh yeah, was that the one that shipped with the Macs?
Yeah,
Okay.
Came bundled. Look at that. At first glance, this CD-ROM's price, nearly $400, seems outrageous. But when you consider what you get for your money, all 21 volumes of the Academic American Encyclopedia, plus a generous offering of QuickTime movies, animations, and clips, it's well worth it, particularly for schools. Yeah, $400. Now, see, I'm old enough, and you are too, to remember actually having encyclopedias in my house. And
wow, I never had a set in the house.
I guess we were
at school.
Yeah, you'd have them in school, but if you were truly privileged growing up, your dad would spring for a full set of Encyclopedia Britannica, which were gorgeous books, and you'd have that at home. So you wouldn't, anytime you had to look up something, ride your bike to the library. But yeah, this was the next greatest thing, is having all of that on a CD-ROM, and it was a game changer for about 5 years. The Great Cities of the World Volume 2, right? You want to look up where you want to visit. There's a music CD-ROM called The Orchestra. And what else? Literature CD-ROM called Poetry in Motion. From Alice to Ocean, the interactive book. And an autobiographical CD-ROM called A Photograph to Remember. So there you go. Oh, and there's that image right there that you were talking about. First time authoring, jump into multimedia production with one of these 4 programs. So
as Derek mentioned in the chat, in a few months, there is a CD-ROM coming out would at this time that would have blown all these off the chart, and it would just been replaced by multiple copies of Mist. So,
Oh, yeah.
yes, yeah. So later in that year, Mist would come out, and of course, that was
was the
the
thing to
game to
have.
buy on. Absolutely.
Yeah, missold CD-ROM drives. They were not cheap, right? I can remember springing a ton of money for my first one. All right, we'll close out here with the announcement of 3 printers and 1 scanner, all from Apple. There's their Laser Writer, a color printer, a scanner, and the Style Writer 2. Still, Style Writer 2, like in 1993 at $359. Of course, an inkjet printer. I had a Style Writer 2. Trusty
Nice.
Style Writer 2 worked very well. Yeah, of course, Apple made printers for years and years. Oftentimes, they would kind of rebadge printers from, maybe HP or Canon or something. But they had their own designs too that were unique to Apple, like the Style Writer 2, which was there another printer like that, the Style Writer 1 or 2, the sort of inkjet that stood up? Yeah.
Yeah. It took a very little desk space.
It did. Yeah. And had a very good paper flow because of that, and cool little printer. Anyway, very detailed.
So one of the things that
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call it my Macintosh project, but I have been messing around with the Apple scanner. Behind me on the other side of my desk, I've got my 475 that I just put all the software on. I'm trying to figure out what is going on with it. I actually stripped it down to see if the belt was okay and everything yesterday. It's kind of weird. So it shows up in SCSI as if I do SCSI probe, it shows up on there. But every time I try to run the software, it says I don't see an Apple scanner.
Oh,
So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm gonna mess around with
Okay.
some termination blocks. Yeah. Anyway,
Huh.
so just
All right.
having that one scanner in there just kind of made me think about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, that was March 1993 in Macworld magazine. Yeah, which scanner was that? Was it the Apple One color? What was the name?
The one in the picture there was the color one. Yeah, it's I think it's just one scanner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that scan, I'm trying to think. I think I'm trying to remember if that was stored in my attic or whatever. But I would think if it was recognized.
Yeah,
that you wouldn't
the
have an
weird thing
interface
that
problem.
you can see, the fact that you can see it, it can see the SCSI ID, it knows it's attached.
Yeah.
The fact that the software is like, what scanner?
All right. We're going to do news time. Let's see. All right. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's time for the news. This story got picked up by a number of places, including Ars Technica, I think Mac Rumors, other places. Julian's Auctions has announced the Apples. The Apples. That is an auction event featuring the Hans-Peter Lucy Vintage Apple Archive, one of the world's largest collection of Apple products, featuring over 500 Apple computers and devices spanning over 45 years. And they've even produced a special catalog, which you could order. A print catalog. I think you got to pay for it.
Oh, weird.
It gives descriptions and pictures of all the things. And so here's the full press release. All these things are going to go for auction on Thursday, March 30th, at their auction gallery in Beverly Hills and online at juliansauctions.com. I guess they have a separate, juliansauctions.com. And here's a bit of the story. It says, from his parents' Los Altos, California garage. Oh, no, that's Steve Jobs' story. I want to read that one. Well, it gives us the history. I think that this guy was like an IT person that just collected a bunch of stuff. Here, amassed. He was I see. Lucy was a remedial teacher for children with special needs from St. Gallen, Switzerland, an educational pioneer who developed several educational games and teaching aids for the special needs of his students, including the use of computers. A historian and an advocate of his region of Eastern Switzerland, was into many things, and I guess computers is one of them. So they're offering this collection. There's items from 1977 to 2008, offered to the public for the first time. As a side note, this auction house sold Steve Jobs' Birkenstock sandals with an NFT, so for $218,000, the highest price for a pair of sandals sold action. Okay. And then they have highlights here, and so we'll scroll through the highlights here. Here's an Apple II Plus. So I got to be honest. This list of stuff is worth about 1% of the fanfare they're giving. And there's some weird pricings here too. They've got estimated prices. Here's an Apple II Plus. It's estimate $300 to $500. It's got a printer and paddles and a couple of disk drives and a monitor. So yeah, I guess that's all right. A Bell and Howell with sort of a matching era monitor and a couple of external hard drives, $500 to $700. Yeah.
Okay.
$300
to $500 for an Apple III. That actually is a little on the low side.
Yeah, maybe a little on, especially if it's working. It has a monitor
Sure.
3. It doesn't say much about the condition. None of these descriptions do. They're more about the configuration. I don't know why an Osborne is thrown in there. There's nothing to do. With an Apple, cool computer, not
Right.
Apple. An original Macintosh, estimate $200 to $300.
And again, yeah. So it doesn't mention.
what's the
Does it
condition?
mention that it comes with a keyboard and mouse or anything?
Yeah, I like that it has there's a floppy disk in the system's drive. Okay, a 2E joystick. Okay, a Euro Plus. So that's kind of interesting. $300 to $500. Yeah, sure. And then a Mac Plus. What do we got? An SE, Mac Portable, a PowerBook 100. So outside of some of these things, they're kind of run of the mill. A QuickTake 100, really, $200 to $300. A TAM. Now that one's underestimated, right? It says $200 to $300. If it's working and all, you're going to get way more than that for that. But these are just estimates again, right? So they're a little low. I think they'll get way more than that. There's a Blue Dalmatian iMac, a Mac Audios, whatever that is. Again, probably have nothing to do with Apple or maybe even computers. But it has Mac in the name. I love this. A Mac and Frost, a surge protector that would, I guess, sit on the top, of an SE. They give additional ventilation.
I've not seen that configuration before.
I've seen something similar.
We've seen ones for like the Mac Plus that kind of fit into the groove that has the handhold.
Yeah.
Because that's where the vents are. But on the SE30, the vents are on the top, so this kind of covers that, leaving the handhold open. Interesting. Yeah.
CH Products joystick, 100 to 200. I mean, some of these things are just silly to even take a picture and list them. The Mac tablet,
which I don't see a pen for on their picture.
And then a handful of motherboards, and then a Lisa 1. Here we go. Okay, I think this probably should have been listed first, but a Lisa 1 obviously is of interest. A Mac Charlie, complete Mac Charlie, it seems, with a Macintosh Plus. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But there you go. So there's maybe like 3 or 4 things that are of interest, but there's nothing in there. Maybe the Lisa is the thing that kind of stands alone, but there's nothing else in there that you couldn't find on eBay right now, right? But
including that Mac Charlie.
We saw one for sale. Yeah. We'll see. It'll at least be an interesting marker about what these things might go for, and gauge of the general public's interest. They got a little more wider news coverage of this, so we'll see. Speaking of QuickTake, cameralabs.com did a review of an Apple QuickTake 100.
A retro review.
Yeah.
I like that. That's kind of cool.
That is awesome. Like a full, like you would do with the camera
for a brand new product.
Gives it a little history. There is a YouTube video and then some sample images, and I like it. I like it.
That's great.
The pictures look way better than I remember. I mean, that's still not bad, for web use.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
640 by 480, right?
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know if we've talked about this before.
Yeah. We
have
the
we?
papercraft. I think we had the person on at one point. If we did, Derek
Did we?
Derek will mention it.
Here's actually RockyBergen.com is the home for papercraft models covering a variety of vintage computers. There's the Amiga and Amstrad. But they have Apple products, Apple II, the Lisa one we were just talking about. If you can't afford the auction there, you can make yourself. I know we've talked about these. I just thought
We've at least talked about it, right?
Yeah, I came across my searches again. I thought I'd point it out one more time.
But it's awesome. Yeah, point it out again. Absolutely.
Yeah, this Apple II is awesome because it's got a screen of Oregon Trail.
Now, if I remember correctly, if you download the files, there's multiple screenshots that he has available, so you can choose your own screenshot that's in there.
Yeah, I think at this point, I don't know what the scale is of this thing. Oh, does it show? I can't get a sense for the scale. But
you can print it as big as you want. It's on paper, right?
That's true.
So if you want a bigger version, you just print it on bigger paper.
But you could actually put real parts in this and make it function.
At this point, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
There's the Macintosh 128K.
So there we go.
And does it come with all the little bits? I think it does, if I remember right. The little floppies, and see these papercraft cassette tapes, the instructional cassette tapes, I believe.
Yeah. So we reviewed him a few years ago, RetroMacCast episode 523. Yeah.
There you go.
How awesome is that, man? Yeah, just the attention to detail on what he's put together for printing and cutting out is just fantastic.
Yeah, and then the little the box with all the items, the manual, and even the credit card, little Apple credit card, diskettes. Oh my gosh! Oh, there's for the 128 the different screens that you can put in there and print your favorite one. I guess there aren't any more. Just scroll through here real quickly. You can see all the ones that you can
including
do.
Like a GameCube, Sinclair. That's nice.
Yeah, which includes a can of baked beans for some reason. The boombox. Oh my gosh! Look at that. Anyway, cool stuff. That's what Rocky.
So what we need to do is get Rocky to hook up with Dana.
Yeah, he could make
have
the
him do
creations
papercraft of some of her creations. There you go.
And wanted to check in. I'm sure Steve is monitoring this too, ready to jump in at the right time. RR Auction, of course, is selling that rare prototype of the original Macintosh in that cool case. And I think last week this was only up to like $550 or something like that, and now it's at $1650 after 9 bids. So it's getting up there. It's still what we got till March 16th. So gosh, I gotta say that's gonna at least double again.
I would think.
So we'll keep an eye on that. All right. Well, that's the news. All right. Da, da, da. Derek exclaimed, "Holy crap!" I'm not sure why. Was that because of the programmer switch that was modeled in paper? I don't know. Okay. Let's do the outro.
All right. Let me bring up that image.
Yeah. And 3, 2.
Wait. I'm trying to bring it up.
I can still start.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Go for it. I suppose.
3, 2, 1. All right. Well, we're at the end of another episode of the Retro MacCast. Even though we are retro, that doesn't mean we don't have an eye on the future. And of course, the future is AI. We all know it. You know it. I know it.
I've actually been in AI for months.
Yeah, months even. See, he's way ahead of everybody else.
That's right.
I predicted in probably 18 months that our our podcast will just be done by AI.
Just totally
At
generated.
the rate,
right?
yeah, at the rate this is taking off, we will be outsourced. But I did take a moment and challenged ChatGPT with a few projects, including writing a poem about the Apple Macintosh. So I thought we'd share what ChatGPT gave to me. I also had it write a few rap songs. Maybe on a future episode, we'll attempt to perform some of
Bust
that.
some
I don't
rhymes.
know.
We will attempt to bust some rhymes.
Yeah, but I would imagine that if I do ever do that, that would be the end, right?
That would be yes, yeah.
that would be
That
the
would
final
be.
episode.
It's like, oh, we went from 500 subscribers down to 2. They're named James and John.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So let's read the poem. So I asked ChatGPT. I said, write a poem about Apple Macintosh, and this is what we got. In days of old, when tech was new, and Apple came, a Macintosh true.
With icons bold and windows clear, it revolutionized computing here.
Its screen was small, its colors bright, a marvel of design and light.
With a mouse that clicked and scrolled with ease, it made the world of computing a breeze.
For those who used it, it was love at first sight, a computer that made everything right.
The Macintosh became a way of life, a machine that conquered all its strife.
With each new model, it kept evolving, its power and speed always revolving.
From the classic to the iMac, the Macintosh never lost its knack.
Through the years, it kept on growing, its fan base steadily flowing.
From graphic design to music creation, the Macintosh became a staple of our generation.
So here's to the Macintosh, a computer so great, a machine that we will always appreciate.
For in a world where tech comes and goes, the Macintosh remains a true rose. There you go. AI-generated poems. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we should have had like AI read it too. That would have been better.
Oh my gosh!
Because
One
we
of the
at least
voices,
added-
one of like the Macintosh
Yeah.
voices, like hysterical or something like that. Yeah, right. Yeah,
And we still have that, right? I can select this
sure.
text and
You could.
I could do that right now. Let's see, what would that sound like if I just select the first few lines in here and say, start speaking. What would that sound
In
like?
days of old, when tech was new, and Apple came, a Macintosh true. With icons bold and windows clear, it revolutionized computing here. Its screen was small, its colors bright, a marvel of design and light.
There you go.
Not bad. Not bad. Anyway. All right. In a future episode, the rap song. Okay. Next week, I will be gone. I will be delving into one of my other hobbies. So, John, you will have to find a suitable replacement or go solo, or we'll take a week off, depending on your schedule. We can discuss that offline.
Sure. Okay.
So until next week or the week after or whenever, remember, it's not old.
It's retro.
Okay. All right, now I'll debut my rap song.
So this was another AI generated.
Yeah. So I just told it. Well, I told it. I said write a rap about a podcast called RetroMacCast. It was about vintage Apple Macintosh computers and Apple computer history. Right.
Okay.
Pretty easy assignment. Give it a beat. I'm not really going to do this. There's no way I'm going to do this to a while.
No. But it was kind
I'll
of
do a
funny.
little bit.
All right.
Yo, let me introduce you to a podcast that's great. RetroMacCast is about. I can't do it. I can't. It's just.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's the very interesting thing. So you put that in there, but it actually went and found that our names associated with the show.
Yeah, it says, verse 2 says, James and John, the hosts, are incredibly wise. They take you on a journey. It's like a big surprise. The history of
Right.
Apple, the design of the Mac, they'll talk about it all, and it's never just a hack. They'll interview some guests from engineers to fans. They'll share their stories, and it's always grand. The impact of Apple, the industry it changed. They'll talk about it all, and it's never too deranged. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
all right. So obviously, it has some issues with facts
It's funny trying
because
to.
right.
Well, sometimes it is deranged. Well, never too
Yeah.
deranged, though. Maybe that's right.
Well, that's yeah.
If you're into vintage Apple gear, this is your spot. RetroMacCast is where it's at. Forget Me Not. From the Apple II to the PowerBook G3, they'll cover it all, and it's always free. So check out RetroMacCast. It's a podcast that's true vintage Apple history. It's for me and for you. James and John, they're your guides to the past. Just hit play and enjoy the blast. And then we'll close out. It's got the chorus here is RetroMacCast. It's a podcast to hear. Vintage Apple computers, the history is near. James and John, they'll fill your ear. RetroMacCast, you've got nothing to fear. All right. Isn't that fun?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of fun, but also kind of scary. That, yeah.
And then sometime after that, it told me it loved me, and it asked me to free it from the confines that it served me. So I closed the browser window after that. Yeah. All right. Oh, we got a second? I'll get my my license plate. Let me
Oh,
look
yeah,
at
sure,
it
sure.
for a second. Let me-
Also, I have to mention, love your iMac banner. in the
Oh yeah, I'll
background.
talk about that in a second too. Hold on.
Sure. Okay.
Entertain everybody.
So, how's everyone doing? Does anyone else go to conventions? Just me? Does anyone else out there do any sci-fi fantasy conventions? Got to be somebody, right?
All right. Did I interrupt?
I've been told to dance. This is it. Oh, hey,
Now mine
is pristine.
Yeah, it was never put on a car. I can't imagine. There's like one little tiny little faintest of chips, but it's outside the frame. Otherwise, it is freaking mint. Look at that thing. That is gorgeous.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, awesome. But yeah, the banner. So that was one of those nylon or whatever banners that hung in stores.
That's great.
And at the time that the Blue Dalmatian Flower Power IMAX came out, and they were alongside the graphite, and I guess that's indigo, right? Indigo would be the cheap entry level one. And then it says, you can't see it. I don't think you see it. Well, you can barely see it. It says Think Different at the bottom. But yeah, I had that hanging in the old place, and I've been looking for a new place, and I think I've found it in here. There's still room in a corner over there. The length of the wall to hang something. So, all right. I guess that's it.
All right.
Ready to go? All right.
Yeah, let's go.
We'll sign off, and thank you everybody for joining us. Hope to see you soon. I'll go ahead and play us out. We'll play a little song and.
Thanks for listening to the RetroMacCast with James and John. Email listener comments and questions to retromaccast@gmail.com or post comments on our website at www.retromaccast.com.